Okay, I believe we are live again. Still Jeff, joined by Elda on the Zoom call. Thank you, Elda, for being there. As always, really appreciate it. Gives me the motivation to deliver a great performance, or at least try to, depending on the week and the material. So I'm going to set my timer a half an hour, of course, to go through the practice. So without any further ado, I'm just going to switch. And of course, it's not the right one, but I'm used to that by now. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, let's talk about this. And I'm going to remove the top here. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so let's go with our week 4. We're already week 4. Week 5 is going to be pretty exciting for those that are not sure when they should join. You should always join, of course, but week 5 is going to be fabulous. So we talked about stretching, of course, and I'm going to answer a couple of questions as we're going through those. So yeah, rotate them wrists. Take your time, not forceful, of course. I'm just going to let's warm up quickly, a couple of minutes. Yeah, I like rotating those wrists. If you have a knee, which I suspect most of you do, so imagine this is my knee. You just drop your hand over your knee, like so. So it's sitting on that knee. And you gently pull fingers, gently, gently when you feel a stretch, you hold it. Do that with all of your fingers. And when you're done with your left hand, of course, always try to even things out. You could do it for so not able to put my knees up in this context, not flexible enough because I'm standing up, but you try it at home. I'm gonna do the reverse halt stretch, which remember the halt stretch is halt. And you just gently, again, pulling very gently. Try to keep that straight line here. Okay. And reversed. Okay. That's nice. Today we're looking at a lot of chord progressions. So what I'm going to do as part of my warm-up, this is just an idea. You could work on past stuff, which is always a great way to go. I'm just gonna do a couple of chord changes real quick, basic ones that we should already know about by now. So from C, and it's just like the visualization to A minor, just getting into it, strumming, enjoying the sound of my ukulele, as you all should. And then to G, C to G, do a couple of those. The goal here is to be very laid back, you know, no stress. You could also play around with different songs. Yes, it's just to get your hand warmed up. If you feel it's still a bit tight, you could again do the stretchers that we've been doing. You could also do what was described in the course. Pick one of the 26 finger combination. So I'm gonna pick one at random. I'm gonna go with 3, 4, 2, 1. So let's just do it. A bit of finger yoga. 3, 4, 2, 1. Here we go. So figure of number 3. So the thumb is still where it should, which is behind where the second finger is gonna be ish. So you could see it here. It's sneaking, sneaking through. 3, 5 seconds, 4. And then 2, 1. It's an interesting sequence. Same with the other. Choose a fret that works for you. Again, it doesn't have to be the first fret. Try to breathe. 2. Stay close to the frets. Stay on the tip of your fingers. 5 seconds. Let's do the last 2 strings here. If you're able to, if you have time at home, I highly recommend you go through the strings downwards and then upwards without changing the sequence. It's just to be thorough. There is no such thing as too much warm-up, in case anyone was wondering. I mean, unless you're not having fun, in which case there is such a thing. 3, 4, and then again 2, 1. Just to get your bearing also. Gives you a chance, give your hands a chance to see things in a way it typically doesn't. I'm just going to adjust that camera because it's going to annoy me. I know myself. There we go. It was too much downward facing. That's probably better. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is warm up complete. Okay, awesome. It's about 5 minutes in, which is wonderful. I could do more, but in the spirit of being mindful, I'm also going to make this a bit bigger. Here you go. So we talked about swing and triplets a bit. So ideally, as you're learning new stuff, so this is just my personal recommendation, as you're learning new things, whether it's in this class or elsewhere, what I would recommend that you do, I can remove this temporarily as I speak. What I recommend you do is, in my opinion, so you could have your own vision of what learning is about, but there is no such thing as, unless you're the chosen one, which I'm not, I mean, maybe you are, but it's okay that it takes time to learn things. I think this is something we've forgotten as a people, as a society. I don't want to get too deep, but it's okay that it takes a couple of tries to achieve something. It's not a failure. It's not a reflection of that we're not talented. It's just like there's a real joy that could come from just going at something, not really succeeding at first, and then just persisting and conquering it. It's great for your self-confidence. So I encourage you, when you're learning something new, at first, your attitude should be a beginner's mind. And what does that mean? So when you have a beginner's mind, it means, well, it doesn't, let's play it in a way like it doesn't really matter. It's not for real. I'm just playing, literally. So that works usually very great. And that's the goal of practices, is you go without judgment. You're just trying stuff out and adjusting. This is like your private moment. This is not like what I'm doing. This is not for broadcasting purposes. It's for you in the comfort of your home. So with that in mind, if we just learned about swing rhythms, where I wanted to go with that is, I would suggest as early as you can in your practice, just after you learn something, incorporate that. Spend a bit of time, like time box it, maybe 5 minutes, who knows. And then once you're that, then come back tomorrow, and maybe by the second, third, whatever your pace is, fourth practice down the road, then this becomes more comfortable, in which case you could add, let's say, the metronome. In which case you could work more on the songs that use, let's say, swing. So don't include it early, make it small and not scary by doing it. Again, I told you, I learned this from a vocal teacher. So it's like, if you're shy about your voice, the remedy is sing as if it's not you're not really singing. It doesn't really count. Like, you trick yourself that way. So same thing with the ukulele. Play like you're not really playing. You're just checking it out. Okay, cool. So let's go with our good friend, the rhythms here, and I'm going to put the slideshow up. Nice. I think I'm good to go. Let's look at that. Okay, we talked about that briefly. So the difference between swing and straight is, so straight is very much more robotic. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Whereas swing, it's more like a horse, like. But it's counted in a similar manner. So you're counting 1 and 2 and 3. It just doesn't have the same feel. And as we talked about, sled is a continuum, meaning you could be lower on that continuum or higher, depending on the situation. Okay, cool. So by the way, I go TT personally. Some people go Tati. I still go TT instead of going T, 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 I go T, T, T. That works for me, but some people prefer Tati because Ta is longer than T. You decide what works for you. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to put my friend metronome. When I'm learning something new, especially if it's eighth notes or above, I am going to use the metronome in such a way where it is, each click is worth an eighth note. In this case, each click is worth a swing eighth note. So that allows me to go much slower than usual. Here we go. 4, 4, 50, and I'm going to slow it down actually to 40. Let's see how that goes. And is that working? Give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. Gotta love them. It's okay. I have a plan B. If that ends up not working for some reason. Okay, and let's take it. Sorry about that, folks. It's the joys of live. Okay, that's in. That's in. There we go. Okay, so that's 1 click. Problem semi-fixed. I'm not so sure why it changed views. All right, well, apparently it's not my day with the metronome, so I'm going to go metronome less, apparently, to... Oh, I got it. I gotcha. It switched to portrait for some reason. There we go. All right, we're there. We're back. 2. So put it in sequence. Tap your foot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Move your hand. 1 and 2 and 3, and go with the universal chord. T T T T T T T T T. Okay, good. Let's go with an A major chord. 2 and 3, and here we go. When you're comfortable, of course, you could make that 2. You could switch the chord every bar. When you're really, really comfortable, what you want to do is gradually raise your speed, as we talked about before. And you want to bring that, this is 40, work your way up to 60 with the same thing. And 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Nice. Okay. And if you're really more advanced, you could consider going all the way up to 80 or beyond. 80 is a good midterm goal. 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. Quick tip, coach's tip. When you're working with metronomes, always, again, choose a sound that's made out of wood for many reasons. First of all, it's a very precise sound. But second of all, here's what I would suggest you do. So at first, it's totally normal when you practice with a click, you're going to be before the click, after the click, and sometimes as you're warming up, you're going to get tuned into the click, which is great. Now, it's good to have that extra click in between, but it can get a bit much. So what I would suggest you do, especially until you get to 80, give or take, like, or lower, like 40, 50, 60, 70, and up to 80 with that double click. Once you get there and you've done it a couple of times, like we just did with the 2 clicks, then turn off that second click on purpose and go back to just the 1 click equal 1 chord note, like so. 3, 4, 1 and 2. So you don't have that training wheel. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And let's go with the A chord. 1. Nice. So, of course, you just have 1 click to worry about, but the goal is to kind of supercharge yourself with those double clicks just to get your sense of timing just right. And once you have it, like, take off the training wheels. And if you're too scared, then put them back on. But you know, that's the theory, at least. Okay, let's go for the number 8, and we're gonna do that a bit faster this time. Not as far as speed, but less talking, Jeff, less talking. So here we go. And that's this one. I need to learn this new one on the fly. Here we go. And I'm going to show the rhythm. How about that? Not this one, Jeff. This one. There you go. 2 and 3 and 4 and ta ti 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 tam ti 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 ti. Okay, nice. Let's go with a C major 7 chord just for fun. And 4 and okay, let's stop it real quick. Increase the speed to 50 for those that are a bit more advanced. Same thing. Let's try to pay attention to where it becomes more difficult for you. 2 and 3, same chord. 4 and okay, that's 50. Still with that double click. Let's go to 65. 2 and 3 and 4. Nice. You get the point. By the way, so I'm making large jumps here. I'm going from 40 to 65 and whatnot. Make them smaller. This is just when I'm trying to figure out what my speed is. Cool, cool, cool. Let's move on to rhythm number 9. And let's start at 75 just for fun. No, I'm just kidding. I want to make it clear. This is my goal, to make it clear. I'll jump to 75 on the second try. Go with an F chord, but first 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 with the F chord. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna do more of this a bit on the next live practice session, but I want to save some time for the stuff that we're all here for, and I mean the songs. Speaking of which, I had a really good question from an anonymous source, so you won't know who it is. So the question was, and I quote, where are the songs, Jeff? It's a really good question. Everywhere is the question, but it's probably not the answer that you're looking for. They're all sitting in a publicly accessible spreadsheet. I also put some links on the course, so you have two ways to find them. So I'm going to show you both in a second. Okay. Nice. Let me just bring this back real quick. Okay. So you're going to find some links to the songs that I've talked about during the course. I put them directly in the thing. But the other one, and I'm going to add it as a link, it should be part of your previous course material. I'm going to add it every time to this type of, whenever we talk about songs, is it's all in a Google Drive. And you know what? By the way, after the class, please go back to this screen, like log into your account, and you'll find, well, first of all, this is where I post the videos after the class. But all the references should be here. So there are some links here, but the links are really the same thing. Less of it. This is tablature. Whereas, okay, no, it's the other one. Okay, so I'm gonna repost that link here. But what we want to do is use those chord progressions to our advantage, and maybe use them with swing. So I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. Okay, cool. So it's a work in progress. I haven't defined everything everywhere. I'm going to go to the intermediates tab, but as you could tell, some of them here do have the feel. Like, for example, Bruno Mars here as one. Let's define a swing. There's, of course, Elvis is mostly swing as well. So I'm adding it as I go along. You could expect to see more and more of those. So I'm going to repost the link. It's going to be in that exact same slide here. I'm going to put a link, and I'm going to do that every lesson, so you could all remember what it is. So yeah, so please take advantage of this. This is what it's here for. Okay, cool. So so let's talk about chord progressions real quick. We talked about pop reggae progression, which is 1, 5, 6, 4, and let's work on one that was in there, which is "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz. So let's go, Jason. Let's do it together, because I know that's a very popular song that everyone wants to play it. Why is it white today? Not sure. Anyway, you'll have to bear with me. I'm not so sure why it's not in dark mode today. Okay, I guess it's not the end of the world. Okay, so you could choose different, a quick recommendation, check out what I usually suggest, which is like, okay, here I'm suggesting you want to do this song in C, G, 8 minor, F, and D7. So in case it isn't, like here, no problem. I'm just going to fix it, hitting that transpose button. Here we go. The reason I chose this one, there was a couple of reasons. There's that nice little riff, but I really like this here. By the way, it's not always there on ultimateguitar.com, but sometimes you have that strum. What does that remind you of? Yes, that's right. This is the swing. Da, 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 da. And when there's X's, sometimes it means it's looking for a percussive strum, which we haven't seen. And this is the intro riff. Okay, cool. So let's do it. Let's start swing. It's not swing, this one. Let's just, or it could be slightly. Anyway, it's a conversation for another time. Just want to make sure that okay, and let's go with maybe 60. 60 is always a good place to start whenever you're practicing something new. And then you figure it out if that works. Okay, so C, let's just go with simple rhythms, which is what we should always do. Let's just go a bar of C, a bar of G, a bar of A minor, a bar of F. And let's start with rhythm number 3, which is whole notes to switch to G. And we're going to switch to A minor, 2, 3, and switch to F. If you're struggling, you might need to slow down again. C, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor, 2, 3, 4, and F. Okay, let's go with half notes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2. Switch chords. 2. And F twice, 2 quarter notes. Stay with that click, keep that foot tapping, move your hands constantly. Okay, let's be crazy. Let's go for number 7, which is eighth notes. That might be more difficult to keep. If it's your case, stop the metronome, put it down to 40, which is a good starting point when you're working on that. And we're gonna put that double click on just to demonstrate really quickly. So at any given point, I guess my message to you is at any given point, stop and adjust to your level. 2 and 3 and 4, and here we go. And 2 and 3 and 4 and G, and 2 and 3 and A minor, and F, 2, 3, 3 and 4, and then work your way up. Sorry, bad metronome. Work your way up there. Build that speed gradually find a place that works for you, but you want to aim for that control so that you could actually go with it. And if you're comfortable, add more rhythms. Of course, this is the goal. And I'm gonna move on to the next song that lets us practice what we've seen. So that's the pop reggae. We had also Despacito. I think No Woman, No Cry is probably a good choice. I think there's a lot of people that like that song. So I have it here and I'm gonna show it to you. Just give me 1 second. Come on, technology, don't fail me now. It's never a good thing when you need to implore technology. I'm not sure what happened with my dark mode. I'll get into, is it because I'm not like that? I have no idea. Whatever, no biggie, I'll fix it. Okay, so a couple of things. This song, if you look at what I typically suggest is C, G, A minor, F, which are the chords which are very similar to the previous songs. I mean, look at that. So you might notice, especially when you're a beginner, there are times, such as this one, where there's like funky chord names, such as G over B, or sometimes there are sevens. Whenever in doubt, there is a button that says simplify right here. Use it, okay? See? See, no more funky chords. It's not quite the same, but it's close enough for rock and roll. And here again, we have a suggested rhythm. You know how the down, down, up, down, down, up. So if you build on top of what you have already put in place, tap your foot, move your hand, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. So now you have something other ukulele players don't have, which is not just a down, down, up, but also how it relates to how you're supposed to move, tap your foot, and move your hand. So those are suggested rhythms. Let's take a look at them. So let's go with C. Yeah, that works. And for the verse, they suggest that you change the strumming. That's interesting. They suggest that for certain chords you have, for A minor, for instance, you have down, down, up, down, which for those that are paying attention, this is the island strum. Again, build on that foundation, get your foot tapping, get your hand moving, and then forget about everything, just do it. In the words of Nike. All right, but since we're learning the song, as we talked about, what we want to do is, and we want to work on that chord progression, which is exactly the same as the one we just saw. We want to play the song, so. And I'm gonna put 60 as a starting point, as always. If it's too fast, slow it down. If it's too slow, speed it up. Let's go. Okay, so this one is interesting. I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna give you, sometimes the bars, they last a whole bar. The chords. Sometimes they don't. Here they don't. Here what they do is they last 2 beats each, which means we're gonna be changing chords more often. I mean, I know because I just tried, but you'll be able to tell if it's twice too long. Like it won't work with the, the melody. Over time, at first it's okay that it's not evident. Okay, so let's go switch. We're gonna start with rhythm half notes so we could switch chords. So every second beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. We start on C, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, G, A minor, F. So that chord changes C, F, C, G. No woman, no cry. Keep those half notes going. Move that hand. No woman, no cry. Okay, so every time you do stuff like that, assess, is this too fast for me? Is this too slow? Can I sing it? If singing is too complicated, here's what you do. Same deal. I'm gonna go with chord notes just to spice it up. 2, 3, 4. good at it, you might whistle. I think I'm going to start using my kazoos as well. Not today. I'm going to spare you. But I have like all these contraptions where I could have kazoos. Kazoos are fun, especially if you don't need to hold them. So that might be a kazoo elevator music version of "A Woman No Cry." It's quite the crowd pleaser in that version. So yeah. So let's take a look at the verses quickly, and quick little note here. The verses are quite syncopated. It's like the rhythm is not necessarily easy to sing. So unless you really know the song, you might find it challenging here to keep the rhythm and sing at the same time. So simplify one of the things. Simplify ideally the rhythm. Just go with half notes. So 3, 4. Said I remember where we used to sit. Let's go. In the government, yeah, entrenched down. I was a bit fast there. Abba serving the hypocrites as they would mingle with the good people we meet. I was a bit late. Good friends we had, oh, good friends we lost along the way. Hey, yeah. In this bright future, you can forget the past. So dry your tears, I say. And so on and so forth. So, hey, I said stop it. Silly metronome. All right, back to the regular program, and we're at time 2. So I'm gonna just do a fun version of this song. You know what? This is since we're on the song. So at the end of your practice, keep some time to just goof around, do something a bit more advanced. It doesn't have to be a precise science. Maybe this was enough fun for you. I don't know. You tell me. But this is a fun song to play. It's a great way to trick you into playing those chord changes and nailing them down. Of course, when you practice and play with friends, you don't need the metronome. So I'm going to be a rebel and go metronome free. So you could follow along. Is this at a good speed? Auto scroll. Let's find out. Start. Yeah. There's something fishy going on with my good friend. Okay, I'm gonna go I'm gonna freestyle it. Let's go. All right. So you could go, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna 1. What speed am I? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Said I remember when we used to sit in the government entrenched town. Abba serving the hypocrites. I need to scroll. As they would mingle with the good people we meet. Good friends we had, oh, good friends we lost along the way. Hey, yeah. Yeah, sorry if the site is not contributing. In this bright future we can forget the past. So dry your tears, I say. No woman, no crime. No woman, no crime. No woman, and so on and so forth. So I'm enough. I went over time a bit. Enough fun for today, Jeff. No, I'm just kidding. You go and have fun while I'm not around. But it's such a great song. It could be happy. I like reggae. Maybe you don't like this song, in which case just switch over to Jason Mraz. So I'm gonna post the link in the course right now. Like I won't delay. I'm updating it in front of your very eyes, so I can be held accountable. So just head over. I'm gonna show you where. I'm gonna give you proof for this. Who said I couldn't be nimble? So here we go. I'm gonna put it at the bottom here. Here we go, and I'm gonna share it with you in just a quick second. Darn it. Yeah, multitasking. I was just talking about this with someone. Multitasking is hard. Here we go, and I'm gonna call it all the songs, so that it's obvious that this is all the songs. Here we go. I'm gonna show you demonstration in 3, 2, 1, lift off. So it is sitting this week in Common Chord Progressions 102. Go to that lesson. And at the very bottom, there should be a link here that says all the songs. Click on this and it will bring you to my spreadsheet that I just have right here. And navigate the tabs at the bottom with the different levels and different songs. And hope this is more like so. Yeah, you should be having a lot of fun there. All right, so thank you so much. If there are any other questions, that was a good time.
Just one from me. If I want to get tablature for, take for example, Wild Mountain Thyme, where would I find tablature for Wild Mountain Thyme?
It's a great question. I usually, what I do is I type it in Google. So I go Wild Mountain Thyme ukulele tablature. And sometimes I'll get results to websites where it is. That's one thing. Sometimes I'll get results that are books. But what I like to do with tablature specifically, I put that in Google, but then I switch over to the images tab. And the reason I do that is oftentimes you will see the actual thing, not just some numbers on a line like we're used to see. So that's a good source. And if not, if I still can't find it there, I'm going to look in most ukulele YouTube creators, like myself, are building lists a bit like what I'm doing, which is going to eventually become a book of suggested, either tabs or chord changes. So I look into those as well. So that might be another way, or even better, the lazy approach. If I'm feeling like a lazy person that day, or efficient, depending how you want to look at it. I might go into one of the ukulele communities. Let's say on Facebook, there are a bunch of groups, or maybe some local ones. I know there's some, in Ottawa and Montreal. There's like some Facebook ukulele groups, and or just beginner ones. And I say, okay, I'm looking for this. Anyone has any clue? And people are usually very happy to help.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Elda, for that great question. Any other question? You know what I forgot to do today, which I'm such a bad boy. Let's see if that worked. I forgot to turn my stream chat on. Well, apparently I didn't see anyone pitch in, so I'm guessing they didn't. There's always a little something. You know what? The last class is bound to be perfect. This is the way I look at it. It's a work in progress. So thank you for bearing with me. All right. If that's all, have fun. Grab that link. Like others, you'll see it's you have proof. I mean, I'm super accountable. Go to the thing, and others that ask me the question as well. This is where you find all the songs, and I'm updating it almost every day, a little at a time. So there's some good stuff in there. It's all curated so that it's accessible to you one way or another. All right. So have fun, people. Have a good one.
Thanks very much. Night, night.
Night.